dying and starting over with nothing, pressing a button and repeating a day or even a moment, using an ability to fix past mistakes. These are all aspects of looping. Now, if you don't know what looping is, I'll explain it to you now. Looping is essentially when a character or multiple characters jump into the past repeatedly, whether it be voluntarily or forcefully. And this theme in certain animes has rapidly risen into one of my favorite themes in anime as of recent. And in this video, I'll explain to you why it has. Now, just for a quick heads up, I just want to say this video will contain spoilers. You have been warned. Now, for reason number one, series depth. Looping in anime can provide a multitude of extra scenarios that can add on to the depth of an anime. For instance, while looper animes usually take place in the same environment for a while, they often stockpile a load of intricate details and important information to the point where being in the same place for too long never feels stagnant or dragged out. The characters themselves can literally make an infinite amount of changes or different decisions based on what is happening in their environment, causing different scenarios that'll always be fresh. Take Higurashi, for example. Roughly 95% or more of the series occurs in Hinamizawa, which, if you didn't know, is the place where all of the characters live in. And even then, they only really go to 4 places maybe, except for in the new series when they actually grow up a bit. But other than that, all of the series is in that one space, yet it never really got boring. And mind you, this show has like 7 different seasons. This then leads in to support my second reason for loving looper anime. Number 2, no Arsepulls. Alright, so I'm gonna be brutally honest here. Although I love shonen anime, it does have some drawbacks. The one drawback I'll be talking about here is Arsepulls. Everybody knows it, everybody's heard of it. And if you didn't know what they are already, they're basically when a character who is usually one of the main ones is in a terrible situation that everyone knows they probably aren't going to make it out of, but they somehow turn the tides and win. And that's basically an Arsepul. So most of the time there's no explanation or a very bad explanation as to how they got the power up or the ability to win the situation. They just win. And a couple of examples I have of this would be, and don't get me wrong, I love this show, but when One Piece first introduced second and third gears for Luffy, we all know he didn't go through any training arc or anything like that, but they just kind of gave it to him in Water 7, and that kind of confused me. And another example I had would be Dragon Ball Super's Ultra Instinct Goku transformation. I don't care what anybody says, that was bullshit. And the last one I have for this would be Fairy Tail in all of its fights. Don't get me wrong, I like Fairy Tail, it's alright anime, but all of its fights, or like at least 80% of them, are Arsepulls. Now, the thing with looper anime is that it mostly gets rid of the whole Arsepul aspect, and I say this because the whole point in looping is to fix the mistakes they had made before by using the knowledge they acquired during previous loops. This eliminates the whole lazy explanation or random power-ups and gives us a direct and solidified reason as to why they had solved the conflict they were facing. And some examples I have of this would be the Mansion Assault and the Great Rabbit fight in ReZero, or the final confrontation between Takano and the kids of Higurashi. But anyway, reason number 3, human character. The MCs in looper anime tend to be a lot more human than most. I feel as though they grow and adapt more to the situations more than others, and when things don't go as planned, they try their absolute best to do it better next time. That is human, that stuff happens a lot in real life. And they often go through a lot more grief than most others as well. It can include anything from their friend or family being hurt, something being lost or destroyed, or even themselves feeling the immense amount of pain or even dying. They feel all of those things within them, as well as keep the memories embedded. Due to the nature of how most time looping anime works, the characters themselves are forced to take on a burden on their own most of the time. And because of this, they eventually explode, bearing all of their pent up emotions. They often say, "I can't do this anymore alone," or "this is too much." I personally think that admitting your weaknesses is the most human thing they can do, even when it happens forcefully. Now, for reason number 4. Listen, I'm gonna be a bit objective here. It feels amazing when the MC finally gets through the conflict after all of the times they've had to loop. It gives you a genuine feeling of accomplishment when they earn their wins through persistence and repetition. This is mainly because this is exactly how the real world works. There usually isn't going to be some kind of shortcut or Zenkai boost that you're going to get unless you get lucky or you are really, really talented, which is why these characters are so relatable. But this is going to be the end of my rant, and I hope that in this video you were actually able to get into Looper anime if you weren't already a part of the